Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Rob and Moof podcast. I am Moof Burger,
And I am Rob.
and today, with the first episode, we're just going to tell you a little bit about us, so you guys can kind of get to know us and what we're about and what we're going to do here at the show. So let's start with let's go all the way back, and I'm gonna start and ask you, Robbie, what was the first video game you remember playing?
Oh, man. Well, I remember the first... I mean, it has to be Mario, because we had a NES when I was really little. I remember this was before my parents got divorced. We had an NES, and we had, Mario, Duck Hunt. We did have this one really weird game where you could put a hamster in a microwave and make it explode. I don't remember what it was called.
That was on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yes, it was a game. I'll have to look up what it was. We could do it right now. But it was, you were in this mansion. It was like a mystery game or something. I didn't really play it. It was more of my older sisters played it. But yeah, what about you? What was your first video game?
It was either the first video game I have a memory of playing was the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis. It might realistically have been Super Mario Brothers, but because we also had an NES, but the first one I remember playing was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
And it blew my mind. I played that game so much. My cousin John actually freaking burned out my Sega Genesis.
Yes.
While we were...
I remember that. I remember hearing about it.
It burned out the RAM because we played it for so long. We played it all night. And I don't blame him, but he was the one on it when it died.
So the game that I was thinking about is called Maniac Mansion. And I'll go ahead and throw a clip of the hamster exploding in the microwave up right now for everyone for their viewing pleasure. Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, so those were really the first games I played was that and Mario, to be honest with you.
Okay, and what would you say is your favorite game? Or you could do a top 2 or 3.
I do like a lot of games. I mean,
all time.
Favorite game of all time.
Or let me rephrase it. If you're stuck on a desert island with every game console but only 3 games. What 3 games?
Do I have an internet connection?
Sure.
Okay.
You can't ask for help to get off the desert island.
Okay, right. I'm talking about more for like online games.
Sure.
Yeah. Definitely Battlefield 4. That's a must. Just be sitting on a desert island slaying motherfuckers. Let's see here. Probably Super Smash Melee for the GameCube. That was an amazing, amazing game. And for the third one, let's go with a single-player game here. I would say Batman Arkham Asylum, the first one. Because that was a masterpiece as well. I'm sure your games that you're going to pick are going to be way, way different than the ones I picked.
I would choose Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
Because I could play that game forever.
Why not Modern Warfare 2?
Because
that game was so much better than Modern Warfare 3.
No. Because the Modern Warfare 2 had the 1887 in it. Akimbo 1887s. Among other things that made the game just cheese. Like, I will concede that there are elements of Modern Warfare 3 that are not as good as Modern Warfare 2. But, on the whole, Modern Warfare 2 is a better game.
Okay.
In my humble opinion. So Modern Warfare 3, RuneScape, old school RuneScape, and man, for the third one, that's a toughie. I'm gonna have to say Gran Turismo 2.
That's a pretty good game. That's decent. That's a decent.
Or really any Gran Turismo or racing game that has a campaign in it, where I can race for freaking ever, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Love racing games.
Yeah. I would say I don't necessarily love them, but I do like them. They have their place.
So, what's your current game that you're playing? Favorite game that you're currently playing?
Right now,
including betas. You can include betas and demos and crap.
Well, at that point, it's Halo Infinite.
Oh, so okay, so so Halo Infinite is looking better than Battlefield 2089
absolutely.
or whatever.
2042. Don't get me wrong, that beta is clean. I wouldn't say it's bug free. There's definitely some bugs, but as far as betas go, the Halo Infinite flight beats it out. I mean, the Battlefield one only has one map and one mode, which is kind of annoying, but I get it. There's probably only going to be like 5 maps at launch, so they don't want to give everything away. And yeah, the Halo Infinite one, they showed off, Cap the Flag, Stronghold, Slayer, Big Team Battle, and all versions of it. They showed off like 3 or 4 arena maps, and they also showed off, the Big Team Battle, two Big Team Battle maps. One Big Team Battle map. I don't remember. That was last weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they definitely get my vote.
Okay.
For sure.
I've been playing Amazon's Jeff Bezos' First Flight. New World. Sorry. New World. I'm in First Flight in New World.
Right.
And it is, some people are calling it 3D RuneScape. I don't buy that. I think that's doing a disservice to RuneScape. But
Okay.
I can see why people who never played RuneScape might come to that conclusion. Or who played RuneScape very intermittently.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Got an alligator chasing me. But the graphics in this game are really actually blowing my mind for an MMO. I wouldn't quite go as far as to say that it's a next-gen game, because I'm not exactly sure how to define next-gen at this point.
Right. I don't think
just
anybody
say
is.
It uses up about 50% of my RX 6800. So
Okay.
whether or not that is I don't know exactly what the benchmark is for next gen, but what I do know is I've played a lot of MMOs, and I've never played an MMO that looked quite this good. Now, it is a new game, but it's also, made by a studio that doesn't really have a reputation for making games, and especially not MMOs. Pretty much
Right.
every game they've made so far has failed.
Well,
I can't say that I was entirely optimistic for this. But all things considered, I'm really enjoying it. It's just really about whether or not they can, keep people interested into the late game beyond the PvP. Because, I mean, for $40, you get, I'm going to say, probably at least 100 or 200 hours of, decent gameplay, from what I can tell. And then it's really just, can they keep people interested in playing? Can they update it? Fix the things that are broken? Can they stop the market from being ruined by bots? It's missing like a clan storage system, which is really fucking annoying. Like, you'd think, at least if a clan owns a town, they should have some storage that they can share between them. Because, if you have somebody who's, the cook in your clan, people have to
Right.
trade this dude individually all their cooking ingredients, and then he's got to go through, cook all the shit, and then go back through one by one, and just becomes a whole thing. And even with like 3 people, if it's like a cook and 3 people, it's kind of a tedious thing. Imagine, these clans have many, many peoples in them, and just little things like that need to be tweaked.
Right.
I think. But all things considered, yeah, it's not too bad. I'll check back again in 3 months and tell if I'm still playing it. That'll be a pretty good marker of that. I also wanted to bring up in gaming news, as you and I do have our phases of playing RTS games, that
Yes.
Paradox Interactive, I don't know if you saw, I believe it was like their CEO quit or got fired, or they brought in a different guy, and they canceled like 3 or 4 projects that they were working on. Which kind of sucks.
Why?
I don't know the ins and out details of it. I just know that there are future Paradox games that are no longer future Paradox games. If that makes sense. Yeah. Which, kind of sucks, because they make some pretty decent games, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, Stellaris.
They're definitely pretty sweaty games usually,
Right.
compared to games like Age of Empires or StarCraft or something. But that's what, and they've usually got some bugs.
Right.
That that's the draw, right?
That's gaming in 2021 for you.
Right. We come for the sweatiness, and we stay for the bugs.
Right.
Like being able to sell energy credits for more energy credits than what you sold.
Right.
or getting
whatever it may be.
Whatever the bugs are in the game. Yeah. No. Truly kind of disappointed. I really hope to see some. I was hoping for a Stellaris 2, and I'll have to look more into it, but I hope that if there was a Stellaris 2 in the works, that it did not end up a casualty of this leadership change over at Paradox, because they put out some pretty good games. They have their own take on the RTS thing, and I really like how they do it. They have some interesting mechanics, and they enable you to do a lot of crazy shit that I as an RTS player appreciate, especially having grown up playing StarCraft and Age of Empires. They do a lot of things. And I mean, honestly, most people's bar, I think, for RTS games is Battle for Middle-earth 2. Which I believe to this day, if you find an Xbox 360 disc copy, still goes for like $30 or $40.
Really?
Yeah, even in not great condition. I mean, it's one of the more desired or desirable games of the 360's repertoire or catalog. And yeah, it's like that was a pretty darn good game, I have to admit. And I feel it was, you look back on it in 2021 and you go, wow, this is a pretty simple RTS. But I mean, when you think about it for its time, and you think about, it wasn't trying to be groundbreaking or anything. It was just trying to be good. It was just trying to do the fundamentals, get the basics.
Yeah, it was just trying to
right.
do what it was trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they did that. I feel like a lot of games could learn from that.
I mean, this is true. They probably could. I mean, the problem with games nowadays, and I hate to bring up this example, you know, but like Call of Duty, for example, you know, if they would just take, instead of coming out with a Call of Duty every damn year, okay, take a solid 3-4 years to come out with the next Call of Duty, and I would bet money that it would be an amazing experience. It would be an amazing game. It would be
but I don't think
built.
they're looking to make an amazing
No,
game.
no, they're looking
they're looking to make an amazing
money.
profit.
Right. They don't care about. That's all they care about is profits. That's
Last I heard, Activision had reassigned pretty much every single studio they own into making Call of Duty or Warzone or Call of Duty Mobile.
Okay.
They don't do anything else now but Call of Duty. At least Activision.
You said Activision?
Yeah, they like the people who remastered Tony Hawk and stuff. Whatever is like
Right.
I don't know. They had a goofy name. They're making Call of Duty now. They're on the Warzone team. You know, like they just canceled all their projects and said you're all working on Call of Duty now.
Silly. So silly, dude.
So there's a quest line in New World for fishing. And you can get like a fisherman's outfit and stuff. But my quest right now is to catch 3 boots.
3
As in like
boots.
Boots you wear on your feet. Pull 3 boots out of the water. Which is normally an item. Like you can, you know, when you're fishing, you can pull up items that aren't fish. Like you can pull up like old rusty axes and stuff and salvage them. And boots are one of the objects that you can get. I actually think I got one just now.
Okay.
It's definitely. Oh no, that's a clam.
That's weird. Not gonna lie to you.
Clam bake. Yeah, no, it's you know, it's just funny that they're making me look for boots because it's like normally they try to like, oh yeah, catch a rare fish or something like that, you know. And this time they're just going, oh yeah, catch some boots. Boots are good.
I guess.
It's just weird, man. It's the little things
dude,
in games.
It is weird.
But it's funny that whenever I'm near water, slimy boot, 3 pounds, 11 inches, got one. Whenever I'm near water, my frame rate drops by like 100. No, not by like 100. It drops by like 20. But crazy that the amount of the effect that like water physics and lighting together have on a graphics card.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
You know?
Pretty silly, dude.
I don't even think this game supports ray tracing, but I can't imagine. Like, dude, this game was frying people's 3090s and shit. I don't know exactly what was causing it, but all I know is it was frying people's $1,500 graphics cards.
That's silly, dude.
Also, if anybody listening has not heard and is a fan of anime, Netflix is making a live-action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop, which is the greatest anime of all time. And it looks like it's going to be not shit. Of all time. It's not my favorite anime of all time, but it is objectively the greatest anime of all time, yeah. I mean, it was... It set the tone for animes to come, you know, and it was adapted with the Western market in mind. And I mean, when you look at, in my opinion, when you look at like the growth of anime fandom in the United States, it really comes down to three or four animes, really. It comes down to Akira, it comes down to Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball, and Cowboy Bebop. You know, those are the 4 that really captured the imagination and attention of the Western market to one form or another. And those are the things that people remember when I'm like, do you watch anime? And they're like, a little bit. And I'm like, okay, well, did you watch Dragon Ball Z? And they'll go, nah, or yeah. They'll if I mention one of these 4 things, they'll have seen it. They'll have seen either Gundam, Dragon Ball,
right,
Akira, or Bebop, like almost without exception. And they got staying power, and looks like Netflix got some good actors and a good director, and they got the right kind of feel for it. So I have to say I'm pretty pleased, all things considered, with how it's looking. We'll have to see when it comes out, but I know you're not the world's biggest anime fan.
No, I don't.
But I think, and I'm not either. But there are certain animes that are just really, they transcend the meta. I watch them and I don't forget I'm watching an anime. Gurren Lagann is my favorite anime.
I still have never watched that.
Robbie, you are missing out. For those of you who have not, well, if you have Netflix and you've never watched Gurren Lagann, take the time. It's only 30 episodes, and like 2 of those are recaps of the first 15, so you can skip those, and fucking watch it. Do yourself a favor, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, okay? Some of you may have already found yourself in the position I found myself in when I first watched it, which is you get to like episode 6 or 7, and you stop watching it because the show pisses you off around episode 6 or 7. They make some narrative choices that are distasteful to many viewers. Not like anything nasty or anything. They're just, it's just not nice storytelling from a viewer standpoint. They don't, and I was so mad I stopped watching it the first time, and then my friend Harry, who had recommended it to me the first time, like a couple months later, he's like, "Oh yeah, did you ever watch Gurren Lagann?" And I was like, "I got like a few episodes in, and and he's like, "Oh, you stopped watching after that thing happened," and I'm like, "Yep." And he's just like, "Nope, you got to keep watching. You have to watch it through to the end," and I did, and I do not regret it. It brought me to tears, which I do not. I don't mind admitting. There are very few like video game or anime, TV, movie stories that have brought me to tears, and that is one of about 3. And it's just so epic, so emotional, so just the music, the writing is all so beautifully done. And I know that. And the other thing is, it's a mecha anime, and I hate mecha animes. Just like as a rule, okay? I've watched almost every single Gundam variant that there is, and the only one that was worth a damn was Iron-Blooded Orphans, because it actually had a storyline. It wasn't just shit. And so that I was hesitant initially to even watch Gurren Lagann, because I was like, oh, it's a mecha anime. I'm just going to write this off because I don't like mecha animes.
Right. Well, it's also a different kind of mecha anime. Yeah, it's not really. I mean, it's about the mechs, but it's not about the mechs. They get inside the mechs, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, most, in Gundam, they're like mech suit pilots, right. But like in Gundam, or in most mecha animes, it's like they're just it could be anything, any other war. They're just in mechs instead of tanks or
right.
on horses, right? It just happens to be the weapon of choice in the Gundam universe, or in Evangelion or Escaflowne or any of those freaking things, right? But in Gurren Lagann, it's more like the people on Earth like live underground, and the people who manage to get out from underground and live on the surface, like every day these giant mechs fly down from space and just kill everybody in sight, and then they leave at sunset and do the same thing the next day. And like nobody knows why.
Okay.
Is kind of like the setup. But like the main character kid like finds this little mech buried underground in his underground home, and finds the key for it, and then it goes from there and it escalates. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the things I really like about it. So first off, it's told in like 2 parts. So the first part, the main character Simone is like a kid, he's like 12 or 13. And then in the second part, he's like an adult, not like an old adult, but like, in his late 20s or whatever. But like, so not only does like you see the passage of time through the story, but you also, his mech, like the gimmick of his mech is it has the ability to like hijack other mechs that it like impacts itself into, and it can like take them over. Okay. And so like periodically throughout the show, he takes over a series of successively larger mechs. So, it starts with this mech that's like basically as tall as he is and just looks like a head with stubby little arms and legs.
Right. I remember watching a few episodes at your house.
So yeah, like by the end of it,
it's hilarious.
Like
it's comical.
They're like hurling stars and galaxies and shit at each other. Right. I mean, it gets really crazy. Okay. Like it's hard to understate.
Fucking Thanos shit, dude.
It's hard to overstate how crazy it gets. It like Thanos would be jealous of Team Daiguren, okay? And so for anybody who hasn't watched it, do yourself a fucking favor.
That includes me.
That includes you.
I've been watching that new. Have you watched the new Squid Game?
Okay, so I've watched the first couple episodes.
I'm on episode 3.
Okay.
And to me right now, it's interesting. I'm curious to see what the games are going to be, more than anything. The second episode to me was unnecessary, but
the second episode is when
it was necessary, but it was
let
boring.
Everybody out or whatever.
Right, they let everybody out, and then they, spoiler warning, by the way. They
let
everybody out, and
that's where I'm at. Basically,
just bust through it, man. Just get through it. It's a necessary episode because it's these people experience this horrible red light, green light game, and then now they're like, fuck this, right? Then they go back to their life and realize how shitty their life is, right? And then, just get through that episode. It's pretty boring, but necessary, for the story. So I'm on the 3rd episode. I think I just started the 3rd episode.
To be fair, I thought that like the first 2/3 of the first episode was pretty boring too.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Absolutely. I'm hoping that it gets like crazy. I'm holding out hope that it gets crazy.
Look, there's a thing. This is, as far as I can tell, this is like a Korean show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, Korean.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Korean. So, it took a while for instance, Square Enix to learn how to tell a story at the Western pace. A common complaint about Final Fantasy games from Westerners is that the cutscenes are too long.
Right.
And it is possible that the Korean filmmakers are, I don't know if they market it, design the show with Westerners in mind, or if they,
I would assume not, because usually that's not how it goes for series.
Right. It just got
usually a Westerner discovers this series and then, finds it good, and then gets it dubbed,
Right.
And then
and so I don't exactly know the story behind
Netflix. Netflix discovered it, or they had it on Korean Netflix, maybe.
Yeah,
or whatever.
It definitely just vibes to me of, Final Fantasy.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, I'm just saying it has really long, or lack of a better term, because I'm not a film buff. For lack of a better term, it has really long cutscenes.
Well, that'd be just scenes.
Well, not just scenes, but there's just a lot of there's like some action, and then there's a really long time where nothing happens.
Right.
And just people talk and stare at each other. And then there's some action, and then there's a really long time before any, before some more action. It's just kind of like it's not bad. It's just different. I don't have a problem with it,
Right.
But I'm surprised as many people are watching it as claim to be watching
it's apparently very popular right now.
Yeah, but it's just
hence why I'm watching it. I was like, seeing everything on YouTube and all this other stuff about.
I'm excited for Tiger King Part 2.
Oh God.
Yeah, man.
Oh God, dude.
I put off watching that for about a year and a half after it came out. Year and a half. And then I finally watched it. Somebody was like, "You haven't actually watched it?" And I was like, "No." And they're like,
"Ashley
what's wrong with you?
Hasn't watched it either. She just started watching it."
Have you watched it?
Yes.
It is totally worth watching. It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. Okay, but it's also very sensationalized for Netflix.
Well, sure. I just couldn't stop watching it.
Did you watch Q Into the Storm? That is a docuseries you need to watch. I'm not done with it yet, but holy shit.
Right.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, bro.
I mean, I've watched a lot of, like Vice's reporting on it and shit.
That's on HBO, I think.
Yeah.
No, Tiger King is crazy. I felt dumber after I finished watching it, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, I just felt like how like filmmaker or documentary makers will like sit somebody down in a room and the dude's got their suit on and is all well groomed and they like just let him talk, and they like present this person as like an authority or something on whatever it is they're talking about. Like almost everybody in Tiger King was like presented that way, but they're all fucking insane, dude. They're all literally insane. All of them are insane. And like I'm watching it and I don't remember what episode it was, but like they get this dude on, okay? Like they're talking about some crazy shit and then this dude comes on and he's wearing like a fucking Crocodile Dundee hat and he's just like oh yeah, Carol Baskin and those animal rescue people, they're all fucking crazy. And I'm just like, yeah, they are.
That fucking chick that got her fucking arm ripped off or whatever.
And then like
holy
the next
shit.
episode they're like, oh yeah, this guy, he's got like fucking like sex slave chicks that he like abuses.
Dude, that guy
and I was
is
just
fucking
like,
crazy.
And I was just like, why are they
fuck?
even interviewing this guy like he's a legitimate person? Like, why are they, why didn't you
part
tell
of
me
a
the
sex cult.
second you put this dude on the screen in the episode previously, they're like, well, yeah, he's saying Carol Baskin and her people are crazy, and they are, but like, this dude's fucking crazy too.
Right.
Like, everybody is, I've never seen anything like it, where there's just no sanity in it anywhere, where nobody involved is a sane person.
No.
None of the lawyers that they talk to are sane.
Filming it.
Not even the people filming it are sane, clearly. And just, yeah, I don't know. It's, that, like, only in America. you know what I mean? Like, only in America are you gonna, and like, I don't know. It, just, like, they were like, oh yeah, big cat people are weird. And I'm just like, first off, there's two words in there that don't belong there. You just say people are weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just big cat people. It's just fucking people.
Right.
People are fucking weird. And
people are weird. Dude, people are fucking weird, man.
People are fucking so weird. But animal people, definitely weird.
Right.
Like animal rights people.
Dude, I mean, PETA is just a bunch of scumbags. The PETA? Is that what they're called?
Yeah. The people that steal other people's animals.
Right. They're just fucking a bunch of assholes.
Steal people's pets and shit.
They steal people's animals to just kill them, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
PETA euthanizes, like,
right.
2 out of 3 of the animals that come into their custody or something like that. Don't quote me on that, please.
No, that's probably right.
Well, just not trying to get accused of defaming PETA. I mean, they do a pretty good
Fuck
job
PETA,
that
dude.
themselves, you know.
Fuck PETA.
But
So, if you want to take a... Did you see what I sent you in the Discord? By the way...
did not yet.
A little shameless plug for the listeners. Join our Discord, Shitpost Central, and come shitpost with us. As well as, like and subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, as well as the podcast YouTube channel, if you like what you're hearing. And everything will be in the description below. So,
Very good.
Yes, do you like that logo, though?
Yes, I do.
Obviously, it's a little basic, but, we'll get it going. I put it on the channel already.
The letters should be a little bit bigger.
Okay. Well, if you look at how it looks on the channel.
Yeah. Just give me a sec. I'm running away from enemies in the new world.
248 by 1152. Remember those numbers.
248, 1152.
1152.
52.
2048 by 1152. Because that is the
dimension
pixel size for the banner.
David Banner.
Or it'd be Bruce Banner as the Hulk.
No, I'm talking about. You remember that song? Rubber Band Man?
No. I wish I did.
Okay, well, I'm going to assume because his name is called out at the beginning of the track that it was the guy who made the track. How do you not remember that song? Rubber Band Man? Bro, that was like early 2000s.
I mean, I'd have to hear it, dude, to be honest with you.
You are killing me. You hear this guy? You are
never seen Gurren Lagann.
Well, Gurren Lagann is I can excuse, but the Rubber Band Man song, bro, was like, it's like saying you never heard a song by it. You never heard fucking My Name Is by Eminem.
I don't know if that's a fair comparison.
I think it's a fair comparison. I think if we polled the people listening,
I don't think
100% of them would have heard the song. Would know they could sing it to you. I'm not going to sing it to you because I'm going to do you all a favor. But were I not as nice of a person, I would attempt a shitty rendition. I don't know why. Man, this is the ugliest fucking town in existence. Like, why would you? This town is in the. It's like New Orleans. Okay, it's in the middle of a fucking fetid, stinky ass swamp. Okay, with like dead trees everywhere, and the entire town, with the exception of like 2 of the buildings, pretty much, maybe 3, is made out of like driftwood. It looks like it's just like nailed together driftwood fucking houses and shit. It's terrible. I don't know why anybody would buy a house in this town. It's not even in like a central location. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's pretty nasty. It's all just a nasty place full of nasty, smelly things. But all this fetid water is evidently, at least under the town, is fresh water, and I can gather it. Oh no, it's not fresh water. Ha 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 ha. Of course it's not. It was funny because when I first entered this place, I walked into the water. It said fresh water, and I could gather it. I was like, that water doesn't look fresh. Not even close. I've been to Louisiana. I would not drink water from the ground.
No, yeah, definitely not.
I'm not saying there aren't people who do and live full and healthy lives, but I am saying I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either, dude. To be honest with you.
So is the Battlefield beta over? Or are they running any more days of that?
I think it's done at 3 a.m.
Uh-huh.
or something like that, dude.
Yeah, that game felt kind of weird to me. And I couldn't really put my finger on it. What it was. It could have just been latency for all I know, But something about it just felt a little funky.
No, I feel you.
Definitely
on that,
looked really good. Graphics wise, pretty decent. The flying in it was probably one of the worst things I've ever tried to do on a video game.
Right. The flying was god awful.
It was worse than Battlefield 1, and that had terrible flying. You loved it. You liked the flying in Battlefield 1, didn't you? Weren't you always in like a bomber
The flying
or fighter?
wasn't that bad in Battlefield 1.
I mean, it wasn't. Maybe my standard for flying games is a little high, but it's crazy when a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 does better flying mechanics and controls than Battlefield.
Yes.
That's all, when the jet in Grand Theft Auto is easier than the jet in Battlefield, that's kind of a sign. You'd think EA could just call up the people who make Ace Combat and go, "Hey man, you want to give us some pointers on how to make a plane fly, and can we also steal your control scheme?" Because man, the helicopters are even worse, man.
The helicopters are pretty bad.
Although the what are those things called? The hybrid helicopter planes. You know what I'm talking about, like the transport.
I do.
The military uses them, and they're
Ospreys, dude.
Ospreys, yeah. So that was very realistic because I don't know if you've ever seen an Osprey crash in real life, or you've ever seen the
no.
vertical takeoff and landing aspect of those things really only works when there's not a lot of wind. And I've seen some on YouTube. I've seen some pretty nasty Osprey crashes of the dude's 10 feet off the ground, man. He's on a runway,
right.
Not moving. He's got it in helicopter mode. He lifts it up 10 feet off the ground. It starts wobbling back and forth. He tries to bring it back down, and it fucking turns on its side and just shreds itself. And I pretty much had that exact experience in the Osprey in Battlefield 2042 beta. And
right.
I was like, well, that's realistic at least. They're pretty much unflyable. And, they're not terrible in plane mode IRL, but they're pretty bad in helicopter mode IRL. They're pretty terrifying, even if you're a really good pilot. And at least in helicopter mode. And yeah, definitely Battlefield got that one right, and it was I crashed it almost immediately.
Well, get good.
Could have just been user error though.
It probably, to be honest, was just user error.
Yeah. All right. Well, unless you have anything else to add.
No, I don't.
Okay, well.
Yeah, we've been going on for about 45 minutes here. Obviously, to the listeners, there's no set time for these.
We'll try to put them out once a week.
I'm talking about lengthwise.
Oh yeah, length. They're just
going to be 30 minutes. Could be an hour. Could be 2 hours. We don't know.
Could be 25 minutes.
We're new at this. We're trying new things.
And we're just gonna do it, the way we want to do it. We're not gonna set ourselves to a expectation that we won't be able to keep, or set ourselves to doing something that maybe in 3 months we don't want to do anymore.
But if you've made it this far, we appreciate you listening.
We do.
And
thank you so much.
All the links are in the description for all our social medias and all our other stuffs. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel.
Yes,
it does. Even with a low subscriber count like we have right now. It helps. Because it boosts our confidence.
It boosts the algorithm's confidence.
The algorithm. That'll be a whole nother episode in
Isn't that what it's all about? Is the algorithm's confidence in you?
The YouTube algorithm.
Oh, man. We should try to get the Spiffing Brit on to talk about it, because he's the god of screwing the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah. Maybe. But yeah. Thank you guys for listening, and peace out.
Yes, be safe and happy.